It's March 4th, 2008. I'm Stephen Chenal, and I work for Control Game. Indeed, you are. All right, so we talked last week about doing some Q&A here, and we scoured the emails that you guys sent and the message boards and the Facebook and the Twitter, and we only came up with like 5 questions. And they actually were all on message boards, and this after we weeded through most of them, which were, does Arkansas have hills, and is the CKG coming out in Swahili? So up first on the Q&A is a long-time project. We've been working on it for about 18 years. That's not the CKG, and it's Cleaver the Pit.
That's right. It was done 18 years ago.
So someone asks, what are the plans for Cleaver the Pit? That's
Well,
your game,
think
so I can't answer to that.
the plan is to get it out of that folder over there.
Yeah, if we could pan, that'd be cool. It's been in a folder over there since about 2007. That's the last time Davis gave me a draft of it. No, that would have been 2006. And in 2007, while cleaning out a box, I found all his original cards that you had hand cut.
Yeah, all the cards.
And used clip art on. And then I put the cards in the folder, and that's where it is.
It's in a folder over there.
So next question. But to actually answer your question about Cleaver the Pit, it's on the back burner. I actually talked to all of you out the over impressions about that game today. It's been on the back burner for a while, but it's really kind of a cost issue with it. When Davis originally designed Cleaver, it has a lot of dice in it, and dice are expensive. And one of the things we've learned over the years is to control production costs. You really have to kind of address all issues. And we just haven't really given Cleaver a second hard go over since those price estimates came in late last year, or 2008 at this point. But Cleaver the Pit is definitely on the table. We're seriously looking at expanding into board games. Davis has a board game for Aired around here somewhere. Actually, it's over there in the same folder, near the same folder that Cleaver the Pit is. But until the CKG comes out, we really can't focus on any of that stuff. Now, to return to your regularly scheduled program.
What extent I'd like to know to what extent the big projects are going to affect the smaller ones. I know Troll Wars have studies will pick about it. All right, here's the deal on big projects and small projects. Big projects are hard to do. Small projects are just as hard. They just take less time.
To answer your question about smaller projects, we're definitely going to cut these things back, at least in the short term, because we have to get the CKG done, and we have to get this inventory of Aired out. And I'm excited about a big project we're working on for this summer. It's just big stuff that we're doing, and it takes a lot of resources, especially a lot of time management and what have you from me. Mark's tied up 6 ways of Sunday and all that business. So what we're going to do, in order to keep a good supply of secondary and tertiary material out there, we're going to launch, hopefully Monday will be the first one, a series of products, what we call Nightly Adventures. As you know, when you're a CK, really getting a big 60-page or 120-page module is interesting and it can be fun, but you really have to sculpt your entire campaign around it. Well, many of you have your own campaign. So the idea here behind the Nightly Adventures is you're running your campaign, you've got that covered. What you really need, because you didn't prepare for it, you didn't prepare for tonight's games, what you really need is some kind of adventure, some kind of encounter. That's it, an encounter. So we're going to do these Nightly Adventures, maybe call Nightly Encounters, I might be a better name for them, but it's just like 2 pages long, and it's going to be a griffin encounter. It's going to be a hippogriff encounter, a giant encounter. It'll have the setting, paragraph, what have you, introductory material, treasures, and whatever else you need just to do a quick-paced little adventure. They'll be really cheap, and we'll put them up for sale on PDFs and all that business. We're going to start them with the MT of Aired, so you can actually start playing these encounters with the monsters that will be coming out later this month or early April. But the short projects, though, you're going to see kind of a slowing up on some of the adventures and what have you. focus on the big projects, but you will see very, very soon a whole slew of these small nightly adventures / encounters. All right, now back to the program with me and Davis. That's not to say that we're not going to keep doing them, and I think what we're going to do is I was kind of going over this today in a product meeting with myself, that we're going to we're going to actually start doing more of the one-shots. Davis did a series of, what do they call them, unusual adventures or something?
Unusual encounters.
Those were a big hit on RPG Now, so we're going to focus on those, and then sort of like my Dwarven Glory ones, small, and as we build up a stockpile of them, kind of bind them together. But in the short term, smaller projects are going to take a catastrophic hit. In the bigger picture, it's really just a means to an end to getting the game out there a little further.
All right, so this is the unusual encounters. If you're not familiar with it, there are things you can buy on RPG Web, but there's unusual roadside encounters and unusual other encounters. So I've got one thing to say. The next one, in honor of Gary, is going to be an unusual encounter based on something Gary wrote a long time ago, and I find the best part of the Dungeon Master's Guide. The Harlot. Encounters can be with brazen strumpets or haughty courtesans, thus making it difficult for the party to distinguish each encounter. So in any respect, Gary goes on about harlots and strumpets, and he has a random encounter chart. My next one will be unusual harlot encounters.
It's got to be strumpets. Strumpets all carried. That's a very
slovenly troll or troll, brazen strumpet, cheap trollop, typical streetwalker, saucy tart, wanton witch, expensive doxy, haughty courtesan, aged madam, wealthy procuress, sly pimp, and rich panderer. Sadly, my only experience is with the slovenly troll.
Yeah. That's a good idea, and homage to Gary will do it. I think he's called it strumpet, though. That's a word Gary would use more often.
Unusual strumpet encounters.
If any of you are familiar with the Canton crew, he's filled with Gygaxian language, I think is what they call it. It's great stuff. So, I don't know if we answered that question, but hopefully we're going to go on to the next one. The next one is concerns the competition. The market's getting more competitive. A lot of smaller games coming out for old school feel. We got Goodman working on something, and I think Green Ronin just came out with a crossover game, some such business. How are we going to compete with these systems?
Well, with Dragon Age, we're going to make our own game called Fairy Afternoon. What's Joe's?
I don't think he's actually named it yet.
We're going to call it.
He's still playtesting.
We're just gonna invite Joe over for some drinks.
Yeah, I think actually Joe owes us a round of beer or something.
That'll pretty much put him into his productivity for a year.
Yeah, competition. I don't know how to answer that question. There's a lot of good games coming out. I know Joe's working hard on his, and I don't doubt that it's going to be a good game with high quality. But I really don't think. I'm not 100% certain we're all kind of fishing in the same pond. Castles and Crusades has been growing and growing and growing since its inception, and we really haven't looked back nor kind of restricted ourselves into any one demographic or any of that. We've got a phenomenal community, as you know, that supports the game. We've got a lot of guys, more than willing to just carry the Crusade on and out there. The Harbinger variant is going to be out next week, so, to help support that. We've got some exciting stuff in the works. Brian Kowalski has really got some cool stuff that he's on the cusp of helping us get out. So we've got a lot of good things going on, more than people. People are going to be pretty surprised, I think, when they see what's coming down the pipe. As for the competitive, it's a lot of good games out there. A lot of good game designers. The ability to do small press is much easier than it used to be. But we really don't look back. We look forward, and CNC, as you know, it's the game to play. It really is. And that's about all I have to say about that. Now I get back to the show there.